Welcome to Raising Kindness, the podcast for parents of young children, episode number 43. Welcome back to the show. This is Melissa Dillon. I'm your host today, and you notice a couple things that are a little different. If this is your first time here, welcome. I really hope that this episode helps you, especially if you're looking for clarity in your life. And if you are a returning listener, welcome back. I'm so excited that you're here because we're moving into a place of embracing the new normal, as everyone's calling it. And I think that right now, from here, we are pressing forward, we are moving forward. I am no longer covering anything that has to do with COVID-19. But this episode is definitely for you to get you through this period, but it could also be taken into account and be applied to your life at any time, no matter what hardship you're facing. So, no matter when you're listening to this episode, if you're looking for clarity, this episode is for you. This episode is ultimately a food for thought episode with advice based on my own experiences that are backed up by other experts who have their own ideas about how they've pulled themselves through to find clarity in their own life. So I'm very excited because I am pulling some quotes from people like Oprah Winfrey, Scientific American, Michael Jordan. So I'm looking forward to getting into this. So when things fall apart, when things get hard, life can feel really foggy and emotional. This episode has been influenced by my own experiences through this period of life that we're all going through right now. I too have had times of struggle, feeling bogged down, feeling foggy minded, breaking down in tears, feeling like I'm sick and I'm going to throw up because our life has been completely turned upside down from all of this too. So, how am I getting myself to pick myself up by the britches, by the lady pants, and press forward? I know that all of us have been moved into a place where we have a lot of questions that are unanswered. I too have those. So you are not alone. So today I'm going to give you 6 ideas that'll help you take the first baby steps in the right direction, regardless of any unanswered questions you may be experiencing right now. Number 1, do nothing. I'm going to lean on Oprah Winfrey. Let's see what she has to say.
When you don't know what to do nothing. When you don't know what to do, when you got to ask everybody else in the world, what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think I should do, what you think. I don't know. Should I get that house? I don't know. Should I buy these shoes? I don't know. When you don't know what to do, get still. Get still until you do know, because nobody knows but you. Nobody knows for you, only you know the path to your own truth.
Okay, so what does that even mean to get still? So, what she means is just don't make any big moves. Don't get hasty. Don't make any moves. If you don't know what to do and you're really unclear about what that next baby step action, what it is right in front of you that you need to do next, just get still, relax, take some deep breaths, do nothing, read a book, do something that you enjoy doing that has nothing to do with action. Maybe get into a hobby that you typically enjoy doing, or take a walk, or anything that you need to do to get quiet and not take any action. Just live in this moment right now in the stillness with your family or alone so that you can give your brain a rest. Because when you give your brain a rest, that's when your brain can go, oh, these are the ideas that I have. Here are some thoughts for you. And the action will reveal itself. The next step will reveal itself in that quiet. So I definitely have embraced that advice and applied it to my life many times. And it definitely works, especially in this period of time where things do feel very uncertain. Um, we've been able to use that strategy to find some clarity. Number 2 is celebrate the challenge. So once you could get past the fear of the unknown, more often than you're paralyzed by it, that's where the strength to make decisions and take action come from. So I know that a lot of people will kind of live by the mantra of, oh, you know, getting started on things and then not finishing them, that's a bad thing. Or oh, that's a person who gets started and can't finish anything. Well, maybe that's a person that's really creative. Or maybe and maybe that person is you, or maybe that's completely opposite from the type of person that you usually are. And that's why this situation is so challenging, is because taking the path of least resistance is often the easiest for us to manage our stresses, is just going with the path of the known, going with the path of what people recommend for us. Well, a situation like this is absolutely a place where a lot of people have never experienced anything like this in our recent history. Nothing like this has ever happened before. So there are a lot of unknowns for all of us, and it's a territory that is has not been traveled by anyone before you, that you can reach to for advice. So what I'm suggesting in this is that celebrate the challenge of trying to figure it out, make it a game. And I know that this doesn't feel like a game right now while you're in it, but I'm telling you from personal experience that once you go, okay, let me look at this as a puzzle to figure out, what are my options here? Then again, the solutions and the options that are before you, where you can take action, start to reveal themselves. And the next few steps are all about making decisions. So number 3 is to decide to remain positive. Michael Jordan says, "Once I made a decision, I never thought about it again." So being indecisive clogs up the mind. And once you decide, and this is for anything, once you make the decision, then you're telling yourself, you're telling your brain, okay, this is decided. This is what I'm going to do. So anytime you feel yourself feeling negative, feeling bogged down, feeling sad, feeling depressed, feeling like you just can't go on and go through this, allow yourself that moment, of course, to work through those emotions and have that time to experience those emotions, and then let them go. So allow yourself to experience those emotions and don't hang on to them anymore. And then shift. So give yourself about 15 minutes to cry it out, to be sad, to curl up in a ball and just feel like you're just not going to go on. I've been there. I've done this. I actually did it yesterday. I'm just like falling apart. And I got a big hug from my husband. I sat there and took a few breaths. I allowed myself about 15 minutes to experience that. And then I made the decision to let it go. And as soon as I made that decision, it felt better. And that's why I needed to share this experience with you, is that as soon as you make the decision to feel better, as soon as you make the decision to let go of those negative emotions and realize, this is just a time of uncertainty and uncertainty is a part of life, then you can just go, okay, this is just the reality and that's okay. And think of all the things that you're grateful for. Think of all the things that you have under your roof, that there are people out there that don't have that. And so just as many ways as you can, think of the things that you were grateful for and think about the greatness and the strength that's going to come out of this experience to help you find the courage and the strength to be positive. And pretty soon, once the more often you make that decision to be positive, then it'll get a lot easier. It'll become more of a habit for you. And number 4 is a kind of stemming from what Oprah was telling us earlier, is decide to take action or not. So right now is a stressful time for all of us. Just because you were strong and productive yesterday doesn't mean you need to beat yourself up because you aren't productive today. Make the decision to listen to your body and treat it like the temple that it is. So your body is going to tell you when the stress is just too much and you do need a break. Pay attention to your body. Your body's also going to tell you, I've got this. Well, some days you're going to wake up, and I know you've already experienced this. We're coming up on the end of month 1 of the lockdown here. So I'm sure you had some days where you're like, yes, I have lots of energy. I'm feeling really positive. This is great. I'm going to get some stuff done. I'm going to, be super mom or super dad or whatever it is. And then the next day you're just drained. And that's just the part of the process of being under stress, is that some days you're going to have higher energy, other days you are not. Some days you're going to feel clear, other days you aren't. Don't beat yourself up during those periods. Instead, just allow your body to go through that experience. Give yourself the space to relax and get that extra needed rest that you are required to have. Treat yourself to some healthy foods and then start anew tomorrow. So always be gentle with yourself and listen to your body and mind anytime you feel like things are just really hard. And then go through those things I was talking about in number three with the positivity and the gratitude to help you come out of those periods of downness a little more often than you may have been experiencing over the last few weeks. And number five is an intentionally taking time for quiet. And I wanted to talk about this again because it's important to also include your family in that quiet time. Consider having a ritual, a midday ritual, where all of you come into a period of quiet together. Because Scientific American writes research on naps, meditation, nature walks, and the habits of exceptional artists and athletes reveals how mental breaks increase productivity, replenish attention, solidify memories, and encourage creativity. So, that clarity is going to come from that relaxation period. And you could also, with your children, also taking that period of quiet and your spouse taking that period of quiet with you, then you can all start to experience clarity and calm together. So, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, right now, all those people are under your roof. So the more often you guys can get on the same page, that's the more often you guys can inspire each other, lift each other up when the other is down, give each other the space because you recognize you have the compassion for each other in the periods of ups and downs that you're all experiencing. And you may all be experiencing the downs at different times. So coming together and having that quiet time will help you guys get clarity together to be available for each other. And then finally, number six is if your inner voice is telling you to make a decision about something special, something you've never done before as a result of the present circumstances. So I'm talking like a career change, starting a business, working from home permanently, um, moving someplace new, pursuing your dreams. Then decide to take the first step toward that dream, even if you're unsure of what will unfold and what that will look like for you starting toward achieving your dreams. The path often reveals itself once you're on it. So I have had this experience a few times since January of this year, actually. And um, it's all about actually raising kindness because raising kindness, I bought the domain and started dreaming about this project since in 2017. And then I work on it a little bit and realize it's not the right time. And then I'd work on it a little bit and realize it's not the right time because I was also concurrently working on growing our other business. So it wasn't possible, and that was okay. But now, after a couple of years of having it on my mind and having all these things on my mind for about 5 years that I wanted to talk about with all of you that I just couldn't get to, I was finally just frustrated and stuck by the end of last year. So I made the decision, even though I had no idea and I was terrified because I had never built an online business before or built an online resource for families that I had dreamed of building for you for so long. I'd never done it. So it was very scary making the videos and doing this podcast and all these things. And and it wasn't until I started that I went, "Oh my goodness, this is liberating." It just felt so much better. And more, I'm starting to find my voice. A lot of things, I mean, go back to my earlier episodes. Some of them are really embarrassing. I mean, they're just not that good. But at least I have nuggets of good stuff. And more I find my voice, and more I get better at it and figure out my style. That's going to happen for you too. So once you get started, if you have a dream that's pulling on your heart and tugging on you right now, consider taking action on it with the other things in mind that I've brought up because we are under a period of stress. Do not feel like you have to take action right now if you're feeling like your body just isn't ready. But if I'm talking about this is for you if you're feeling that really hard tug on you to just go ahead and do it, then just take the first step. Just do it because once you take that first step, that's the most difficult step. It's the most nauseating step, if you ask me. But if once you make that leap, then it's the next step is a little easier, and the next step is a little easier, and next thing you know, you're on the path. And And the next step seems to be more clear, even though you don't know what step 6 is going to be right now or step 10 is going to be right now. At least once you take step 1, you'll be that much closer to the step in front of you. And then next thing you know, you're on it to start achieving that dream that you've been wanting to work on. And in this time of stillness, when the world has stopped, is a great time to do it if that's for you. Okay, so I hope that this episode has helped. Again, I'm going to recap everything that we talked about. So, forgive that pause. I have 2 episode notes right in front of me, and as I started reading them off to you, I ended up mixing up all my notes somehow. So I was like, where are all my notes? So, number 1 is do nothing. Number 2, celebrate the challenge. Number 3, decide to remain positive. Number 4, decide to take action or not. Number 5, intentionally take time for quiet. And number 6, if your inner voice is telling you to make a decision about your dreams, go ahead and take the first step to achieve it. So I hope that this helped. Thank you so much for listening. And please do subscribe so that you're notified of future episodes. I have one more episode for you this week, and it's all about how to be unafraid of uncertainty. So subscribe so that you're notified when I release it. And go over to raisingkindness.org for a list of all of our episodes where you can just press play on any of the titles that look appealing to you. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking with you next time.